Hello, this is Jordan recording my education app for week 9. Just get right to it. Whereas I have very first line, scene 1. This is how I transition to different scenes, as I have scene 2 and 3. Scene 2 and 3 will consist when you press J, and scene 3 would be when you press M. And then scene 1 is just the home screen you see here of the title, Jordan Tracer app. So scene 2, scene 3, mouse color is a global variable I use for my code. So when I press the color of the button associated with it, it will change the color. You'll see that later in my code. Green, yep. So if you press green, it's going to change to green. And then blue, it'll change to blue. So you'll see 100 times in all my code. I use the same functions to build a Bitmoji. And then I put all that lines of code and give it a variable names, and then put that inside drawJordan. So whenever I call drawJordan, it knows how to construct a Bitmoji. Then I have here is a constructor for an object button, because I'm going to make different instances of this button. So as you see JM, I have red, green, and blue. Those are roughly 5 buttons I'm going to be using in this program. And then I use config because it makes it easier to list all the properties without writing all the arguments, names to those properties. And then I set a default. So instead of, if I don't mention these properties in the next instance of the button, it goes into the default value, which is just the easier way of writing the code. And color is what I use to change the color to my buttons. What I mean by that is when I press that color associated with the button, it changes the mouse. That's going to be later in my code. But anywho, that button, that prototype, I'm explaining pretty much the directions of how to draw this button. So when I do draw a button into existence, it knows what the button should look like. And then mount inside, I'm giving the parameters of what it means to be inside the button. As I click on it, so it won't be like off screen. I click on it, and it will transition next scene. That's why also I have put mouse click as well. And then it also means if the mouse is inside and the mouse is pressed, then I'm saying this is on click, which just means it is clicked if you are inside and you pressed. Oops, sorry. Change color. This will be how I pass in the color to different buttons I assigned to those colors, which is red, green, and blue. Mouse button here is actually with my 6 button technically. And the button you see appear that black square is actually the mouse button. And if you play around with the width and height, you'll see the different dimension. Yep. So, and that's just there's a reference to the tracer. That's the point of this app. And it starts with mcolor 175, but it really is not. It's just there as a placeholder. It's actually getting overridden with a different mcolor once you press red, green, and blue. As you'll see going down here, first name letter is actually the first name letter and the last name letter, which is Jordan Melnick is my name, these are assigned scene 2 and scene 3, JMM, and it's when you click on them, it'll know when's the different scene. So we start with scene 1. If you press J, you're on scene 2. That's basically what the onClick function is stating. However, you press M, and you are on scene 3. Then I have 3 buttons here, which are just new instances of the object button. And when I state these buttons here, if I click red or if I click green, then I'm changing the mouse color, which is this square right here, to the color I assigned, which as obvious red button is going to be red, green button is going to be green, blue button is going to be blue. Yep. And then splash screen is my home screen. It's the very first thing you see when you open this app. Just has the by title, it has the text, it has the Bitmoji, and then I drew the J and M buttons, so that's how you can transition next scene by pressing those buttons. And then first initial button right here, J, it's stating when you press this button, this is what's going to be drawn. This is what's going to be on display, which is just letter J, which is just the text, and I changed the size to make it bigger, and draw the buttons red, green, and blue. My first name, letter, initial, and my last name, letter, initial. Same thing, my last name, letter, initial. Just change the property of the M to make it bigger. Make this button disappear by drawing them. And then my draw function it's pretty much explaining. Let's see. So this allows the mouse click, so the response to the behavior. So it gives when you press this button, it accesses a certain type of code based on a mouse click. And then if scene is 1, it means it's splash screen, it's home. And saying if scene is 2, which is here, is letter J. And then if scene is 3, it's my last initial, N. And let's see what else. And then mouse button.x.y, just how you can see my mouse cursor moving. If I press it and it's mouse X, mouse Y, means whatever I do with my mouse, it's going to be the X and Y position, like Y is up and down, X left and right. And then here, if scene is not 1 and mouse is pressed, build a mouse color, and then mouse color.change color is just mouse color, and then draw the mouse button. So this just pretty much puts the mouse button into existence, more or less, if it's not scene 1. So it's saying if it's not in the home screen and the mouse is pressed, put this mouse button into existence. And yeah, that should be all my lines of code. So make sure to use Firefox to open this code, because for some reason Google Chrome in the past has given issues with the display, as some objects were not on the screen, like they were